Welcome to the Perfect Place to Put a Practice podcast. I'm your host, Mike Green from Dr. Demographics, where we help private practice owners just like you find the perfect location and strategies to grow your practice. Today, we're going to dive into a powerful tool that you can use to transform how you attract new patients to your practice, and that's psychographics. If you've listened to me for a long time, you've heard me talk about psychographics for years and years. However, I haven't talked about it for a little while. So I thought we would hit a psychographic episode, talk about how you use it, what they are, and how you can bring more patients to your practice by focusing on psychographics. Welcome, friends, back to the podcast. I want to say thank you. I always do, but I really do mean it. Thank you so much for all of you that have listened to us for so long. We love doing this podcast. We get great feedback from it. For many of you, as you're going through that selection process of finding that perfect place to practice, it's a huge decision. We get it. And so that's why we try to put out as much data and information as we can to help you on your journey. Also, I want to thank all of you that have supported my book on Amazon, Dental Marketing Mastery. It's available now, working on the audiobook, but the print version and the Kindle version is available now. If you have not had a chance to pick that up, do so and leave me a review. Let me know how you like it. All right, let's talk about psychographics. Now, a lot of times when I say that word, I get a really confused look on people's faces. Everybody's heard of demographics, things like age, gender, income, location, those kind of things. And there are no question they are critical to understanding who it is and that is in your neighborhood and market that you're going to be working with. But psychographics, as a marketer, psychographics are the stuff, man. Like, they are the thing that really will help you move in the right direction and be able to focus your marketing and your targeting into things like people's values and their interests and their lifestyles and behaviors. So, for example, two 40-year-old women in the same neighborhood might have identical demographics, same age, same time that they've been married, the same amount of kids, all that stuff. But one might be excuse me, I've been under the weather the last week or so I may cough a time or two in this episode. Apologize for that. One might be really health conscious, yoga enthusiast, that kind of thing, prioritizes organic everything, while the other one maybe is all about money, right? Like, that's how they're making their decisions. Psychographics help you understand what motivates people and what creates your ideal patients. Are they driven by status? Are they driven by community? Are they driven by wellness? Are they driven by cost? Knowing this helps you craft a marketing message that will help you resonate on a personal level. And for a private practice where trust and connection are everything, that's a game changer. And it's something that can really help make and motivate your patients into using your services. So, why psychographics matter for your practice? This is why, in my opinion, you should care about psychographics. Let me paint you a quick picture. Imagine you're a dentist in a suburban area. You could blast out a generic ad that says, "We're accepting new patients," and those ads, I see this in almost every market. We're accepting new patients, or friendliest dentist in town, or something like that. Those ads might fall flat because you're not speaking to anyone in particular. You're blasting out a super generic message. I'm a fisherman, and so I kind of use fishing analogies, and it's kind of like you're just throwing a hook in the water and reeling in, and you're not targeting anything. You're not learning anything about the fish you're trying to catch. You're just throwing the hook out, hoping you snag something. That's not marketing. That is just a hope and a prayer. That is not how we do it, and it's certainly not how I hope you are doing it for your practice. So if you value a big chunk of your target patients, let's say they're maybe young professionals and they value eco-friendly practices, modern technology, you can tailor your message specifically for that group. Maybe highlight your paperless office or your state-of-the-art laser treatments. Suddenly your marketing feels very personal and not like just one big giant billboard that's trying to capture everybody. Here's the deal. Patients who choose practices based on emotions and values, not just proximity and price. Psychographics help you tap into those emotions. Study after study show that practices using targeted marketing based on psychographics see usually about a 20 to 35% increase in patient acquisition compared to generic campaigns. As throughout the years, as we've visited offices and done in-depth studies for them and helped them understand the psychographics for their office and their neighborhood, almost every time, I cannot think of a single time that we have done that with a practice that they haven't come back and said, man, we've seen a huge boost in their patient acquisition. And the great part is it's the patient that they want. It's the right patient coming through the door. So let me give you an example, a non-dental example. A chiropractic practice that we work with at Dr. Demographics noticed that they were attracting two types of patients: athletes who wanted to have a performance optimization, and then older adults seeking for pain relief. And that's a pretty common thing for a chiropractic office. But by digging into the psychographics, they learned that the athletes valued cutting-edge techniques and community involvement, where the older adults were prioritizing trust and clear communication. So what they did is they split their marketing, social media ads with dynamic visuals for athletes and warm testimonial-driven newsletters for seniors. The result, their bookings went up by 15% in just 3 months. And when you think about your practice and your patients, if you had a 15% increase in qualified patients walking through your door, like what's the monetary value for you and your practice in that? It's pretty significant. So psychographics, obviously it's a big word, but you don't need a PhD in psychology to understand it. There really is 4 practical ways for you to gather psychographic data for your practice. And all 4 are very valuable. So the first one is patient surveys, a simple way to learn about your patient's values and lifestyles. So just to ask them, create a short survey, 5 to 7 questions. You can send it out by email. You can have the patients fill it out in the waiting room. You're going to ask things like, what's most important to you when you choose a dentist or a chiropractor or whatever it is that you are? What activities do you enjoy in your free time? What health goals are you working towards? Those type of questions they're simple, but they're very, very effective. And you might even say, hey, we'll give you a $5 Starbucks card or something like that if you'll take the survey. It's very, very valuable information. Again, from a marketing standpoint, that data is gold, and it will help you understand who your people are. So the second way that you can gather it is by looking at your social media insights. So if you're active on Facebook, Instagram, those kind of things, they provide analytics that can reveal some really interesting psychographic clues. You want to look at what kinds of posts your followers engage with. And for those of you that have gone through my social media marketing training, we categorize things in the way that we post our social media posts. So it makes it really easy to be able to identify those patients and what they're responding to. You can see, are they responding to community type posts or tech posts, or what is it that they're responding to? And you can start to draw a picture of what they're like in a psychographic profile, and so you can target them better. Third thing is to observe your current patients. I was up at a practice in Missoula, Montana, not that long ago, and they had a very outdoorsy client set, which is not surprising for Missoula, but it helped them know exactly what these patients of theirs, what they prioritized, and they were able to tailor their marketing, their brand, all those things to better understand those patients and target them in the long run. Now, my favorite way for you to understand your demographics is to utilize a great company by the name of Dr. Demographics. hint, hint, that's us. We provide the psychographic data for your area. That's part of the data that we collect. That data is super valuable, very marketing driven, will really help you put all of the puzzle pieces together, both demographically and psychographically, so that you can go into the field with a strong strategy in place and knowing what you want to do. So let's talk specifically about how to use psychographics in your marketing. So now that you know what the profiles are and you have a strong grasp on which of those profiles you want, you need to know exactly how to integrate it into your marketing. So the first thing I always tell people is you want to tailor the message, the primary message and the secondary message that you're putting out to the community. You want to use psychographics. Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to use psychographics to craft a message and make sure that it really hits home with your perfect patient. Let's say you're a pediatrician and your data shows that your target patients are parents who value education and community. Instead of an ad that just says, hey, we treat kids of all ages, you might say in your ad, we help your children thrive with compassionate care and parent-focused education. That speaks directly to their values and is going to get a lot better response. Another example, if you're a physical therapy practice, a matter of fact, I'm thinking of one that we worked with a few years ago. They were split between fitness buffs and people that had chronic pain. And so they created two different campaigns. One was Unleash Your Inner Athlete, and the other one was Live Pain Free Again. And those headlines spoke exactly to those target patients and brought people in. That really, again, makes up that 15 to 20 to 35% of new patient acquisitions for their practice. So the second one is make sure you're choosing the right channels to market in. Psychographics will tell you where to reach your patients. If your ideal patients are super tech savvy and they're demographically, we know they're millennials, we find out that they're very value conscious, very convenience focused. An Instagram ad or a super slick website with online booking will become extremely important. If they're older adults who value trust, you're going to invest in, shocker, direct mail. Still works, still does great things, especially for the right demographic and the right psychographic group. So once you understand that, you can choose the right channels so you're not wasting money on channels that aren't going to work. And the third thing is you want to create content that really will resonate with that psychographic group. So if you use psychographics to guide your blog posts, your videos, your social media content, your patients will immediately gravitate to it, and it will put you above the crowd when it comes to your competition, because likely they're not paying as much attention to psychographics like what you do if you're a client of ours. So, for example, if you're a dermatology office, you might be looking at skincare for busy moms, for example, and after learning their patients value quickly practical advice, that office saw a traffic jump of like 25% in the visitors to their website. And so it was a really immediate thing that you saw really quickly that became pretty dynamic. So exciting stuff, and it was great for that office. And again, dermatology can be a really challenging practice to market to, but they were able to find out that demographic, find out that psychographic, and then build a really great campaign that worked great for them. So here's a few pitfalls as we wrap up here for you to avoid when it comes to psychographics. So number one, you want to not do any overgeneralization. Super tempting to assume that all your patients fit into one psychographic profile, especially if demographically they all look the same. If you're in an area that says like all middle-aged parents, you might think, oh, they must be all the same. Man, they are not. And so that's why those psychographic reports are so important. And we incorporate that into our site viability reports and our marketing reports that will tell you exactly the differences. So they might all be 35 to 40 with 3.5 kids, but you'll be shocked how different the psychographic profiles are typically in most places in the country. The second giant mistake would be to ignore the demographics and just look at psychographics. While they're super powerful, it's a 1-2 punch. They have to be paired together because it's going to tell you what the whole story is. So if you put a marketing campaign out there that's just based on the psychographic profile, you're really going to miss the rest of the puzzle pieces, which is that demographic data, which is the whole reason that we developed the reports the way that we did. And the last thing is not testing your approach. And I could go on for an hour about this, but marketing is not a set it and forget it activity. You want to test your psychographic based campaigns with small budgets at first, which, thank heavens, when I first started this back in 2001, you couldn't do that. Like you took out a magazine ad for $6,500 and you just hoped and prayed that it would work. But now I can spend, $100 on a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad and do a bunch of testing before I commit a larger portion of my marketing budget to do it. So it's such a great tool. There's so many great marketing tools out there today that make marketing not only way more effective, but also much more budget friendly. Excuse me. The last tip would be to be authentic. Patients can smell inauthenticity a mile away, especially in the social media world that we live in. They're used to seeing it. They know what it looks like. You've got to be authentic. And it takes a minute. Like, it takes a minute to find your voice, but that's why you've got to be consistent on everything that you do. All right. Hopefully that gave you some few things to chew on when we're looking at psychographics for your area. If you have not done a site viability report for your existing office in a year or two, I'm actually running a promotion right now for our existing clients that will give you a little bit of a discount on that. The reason why is because we just got in our brand new updated data for 2025 here about 15 days ago. And so I wanted to offer that through the rest of the month for our friends and clients. So if that's something you're interested, just shoot me an email or give us a call. You can just go to drdemographics.com and you'll see our phone number and the email. And let me know that that's something you're interested in, and we can provide a site viability report for you that will have all the updated demographics and psychographics for your practice area. Again, I'm Mike Green with Dr. Demographics. I hope this is valuable for you. We're here every week to provide this information to you, and now it's up to you to take the data and run with it and make your practice awesome. And I hope you do. I really, really do. Hey, if you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever it was that you listen to this. And until the next time, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, guys.